Picture this. You've got a giant pizza on the table, and you're splitting it with a friend. You take 2 slices for yourself, and they take 2 slices as well. Equal parts, a fair split, right? But what if, instead, you had gone for a single slice from a much smaller pizza, while your friend had 2 massive slices from a larger one? Suddenly, things aren't so equal anymore. Even though it might look like you've both taken 1 or 2 slices, the proportion is wildly different. And that's what proportion is all about: relationships between parts and the whole. It's not just about numbers, it's about context, balance, and fairness. Let's break it down in simple terms. When we look at proportion, we're essentially comparing ratios. A ratio is simply how much of one thing you have compared to another. For example, in a recipe where you mix 1 cup of sugar with 2 cups of flour, your sugar to flour ratio is 1:2. But proportion takes it a step further. It's looking at how that ratio holds steady, no matter how much you scale things up or down. So at any size, whether you're baking a cupcake or a wedding cake, the sugar should always remain in that 1:2 relationship with the flour if you want the right texture. Proportion comes into play in nearly every aspect of life. Imagine designing a room. You've got a couch that's 10 feet wide, and you place it in a small apartment living room that's only 12 feet across. It's going to feel overpowering, right? But move that same couch into a massive room, and suddenly it looks perfectly balanced. Why? Because the proportions between the furniture and the space make sense. It even affects how we judge beauty. In art and design, there's something called the golden ratio, a proportion considered so aesthetically pleasing that it's been used in works ranging from the ancient Parthenon to today's logos. The concept? Certain measurements just feel right when their proportions match a specific ratio of approximately 1:1.618. But proportion isn't just a tool for aesthetics or fairness, it's critical for problem solving. Let's say you're trying to calculate how long it will take your road trip if you're driving at a constant speed. If going 100 miles takes you 2 hours, proportion helps you figure out how long 200 miles or even 300 miles will take. You're examining the relationship between time and distance and using that proportionality to predict an outcome. Here's the big takeaway. Proportion is everywhere. It shapes how we build, how we share, how we compare, and even how we perceive. Whether you're designing a painting, splitting a dessert, or working through a math problem, understanding proportion means seeing the world not just in individual parts, but in how those parts work together as a whole. So, the next time someone asks you to split pizza slices, pay attention. It might just be a lesson in proportions waiting to happen.